Hi, it's Ben again. This is part 3 of my GameMaker grid-based movement system thing tutorial. Still don't have a great name for that. Today, we're going to be creating and placing some enemies in our game and making it so that we can move up to them, attack them to lower their HP and kill them. And then in the next one, we'll make it so the enemies can do that to us, so it'll be even. So first things first, we're going to make some sprites, and by that I mean just one. I'm just going to make it evil red, and don't forget to center it. Just one enemy for now. We can make more later. And then let's go ahead and create, first things first, our parent enemy, which is not going to have anything going on quite yet, and an obj enemy 1, which will have a sprite, and it will be parented, or it'll be the child of the parent enemy. And we can go ahead and start putting some code in our enemy 1. Well, let's not do that quite yet. Let's do this first. So first things first, for the enemy, the parent enemy, this is where the bulk of our code is going to be. The goal of this will be to make it so the parent enemy will only have a create event, and it'll only be for modifying statistics, just to make it just super easy to make new enemy types. So again, we're going to do a shortcut to the controller object because we're going to be referencing it very often. We're also just going to go ahead and make a nice reference to our grid components. We're just going to get the grid X and grid Y coordinates from our X coordinates and Y coordinates. We're going to be placing the enemies randomly using the controller, so it'll just be nice to have reference to these immediately. And we'll go ahead and set the grid to this value. And the enemies again are going to be a value of 2 on the grid, so that's what we'll be doing there. Now then, we're not actually going to be doing that much more code in the enemies today, but we are going to at least do this. I should really have a better... I'm just going to leave that for now because we don't have enough. It's just going to be if HP is less than or equal to this. This is just going to be if the enemy dies. That's all. There's going to be more than that later. And we want to make sure that when the enemy is destroyed, we clear out any data structures. Well, sort of. Really just clearing out their spot right now. We'll be adding more here later, as usual. Okay. So now we're done with the parent enemy for now. Let's go over here. You might have noticed that I referenced HP earlier, but I don't actually have an HP. So again, we want to make sure that all of the statistics for the enemies are in the actual instances of the unique enemies, not the parent itself. So here's where we're going to set HP. We'll just set it to 2, and we want to make sure we do, anytime you have a child having an overlapping event, so the parent enemy already has a create event, we want to make sure that the create event for the child also has it evoke the parented create event as well, so that it doesn't get canceled out. That's important. So that's all for now. Now we're going to be making a new script, which we'll be using by the controller and also elsewhere a little bit. It's only going to be used twice, but it's still nice to have it as a script. This script is going to be called populate, and it's going to populate the game with enemies, and later it'll populate items as well. But for now, just enemies. So we're going to be making it so the game randomly places enemies and make sure that none overlap walls, players, or other enemies. So let's start that. We're going to start by making some variables and do a for loop. I should probably reference the enemy num, so I'll do that. We're just for now going to have enemy num be 5. Normally you wouldn't want to have something like this in the script because it kind of defeats the purpose of it, but it'll make more sense later when we modify it. Later on we'll make it so that the number of enemies that get created per level is based on a literal level, like a level variable, so that when you complete you kill all the enemies, then you advance in level and then also advance in difficulty, so it'll be a scaling thing. But for now, we're just going to make it a set 5. So for our enemy spawning, we need to make it so that they don't overlap. And there's lots of smart ways to do this, but we're going to do it kind of a stupid way because I don't think it's necessary to overthink it. So all we're going to do is a do loop, which doesn't get enough credit because it's a nice loop, I think. So this might look familiar from, this might look familiar from when we did the player placement. We did the same kind of structure. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to check whether the spot that it randomly picked is free or not. And if it is, then great. So all that this code is doing is it's going through all of the different enemies, and it's picking a random location, and it'll continue to pick random locations until it finds a free one, and then it'll place an enemy there, and then continue through the loop until there are no more enemies to place. So, and it works pretty well even if you have a lot of enemies, honestly. But you probably won't want, more than 10 per level, depending on how big it is. So if that is the case, then this is like perfectly good enough. You don't need anything crazier than this. Oh, that's wrong. What have I messed up? I've still messed something up. What have I messed up? Unexpected symbol. Position 12? What? Oh. Duh. Okay. So, yeah. All that was, it just created the enemy. And we want to make sure that we are creating the actual enemy, not a parent enemy. Later on, when we have more enemy types, we'll be doing a choose, which is this nifty little thing, and we'll just fill in the ones and it'll just randomly pick them. You can do things more complicated than that and more smarter than that, but you can figure that out yourself. So this is populate, nice and simple. And then we're going to go into the create event of the controller. We're just going to put populate here for now. We'll have another evocation of populate later on, but for now, it'll just be in the create event of the controller. So now that we've done that, it's time to actually make it, well, I guess we can see our enemies. Yeah, let's do that. Let's take a look. So there should be 5 enemies randomly located, and they should all have 2s over them. What have I done? EX not set. And populate. Let's look. EX, EY. XX. No. I'm not typing super good today, huh? Oh, it wasn't kidding. It was EX. Why? Did I never... I must have never made it... Let me see here. Oh, I did EY twice. Goodness gracious. Okay. For real this time. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll be able to move right through them because, again, it's kind of funny. It's setting it to 0 because it's not live updating. But, you know, that works pretty good, I'd say. All right, so now let's make it so the player can actually attack the enemies. So to do that, we're going to modify our movement area, like I was saying earlier. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to split it so that we're going to first check can move as usual. Then we're going to check right, or any of the directional buttons. And then within that, we're going to check two different things. First, we're going to check if it's an enemy. If there is an enemy nearby, we're going to attack it and then skip the check for the wall. And then if the enemy check fails, then we're going to check if there's a wall. And if that fails, then we're going to move. Otherwise, if everything fails, well, no, sorry. If the enemy fails and the wall succeeds, then we won't move. We'll just do nothing. So yeah, that's how we're going to do it. So to do that, we're going to split this up a bit. And then say... This time we're going to do... Let me think here how we're going to do this. Let's do else if, and then if. And then we're just going to copy this. But since this is checking for a collision for real, we're going to not have the exclamation point for a not. And then instead of move, we're going to have attack. So we're going to make a new script. And then that's pretty much all that's going to change. We're still checking so we're going to check whether it's the right key pressed, and then we're going to check if the thing directly to the right of us is an enemy. And if it is, we're going to attack it, and then we're not going to bother checking again because we know what it is. Otherwise, if it's not an enemy, then we'll go ahead and check if it's a wall. And if it is, then we'll do nothing. Otherwise, we'll move. So, good. Let's go ahead and do that for everything. That needs to be attack. Just these tiny little modifications. Oh, I'm not doing that. Okay. And let's make this a bit nicer looking. It's good to comment your code, even if it looks obvious, because it probably isn't. Beautiful. Now, let's make our attack script. So this is going to work pretty similarly to the move script, where we're going to get a direction as an argument, and we're going to check all of the different directions to see if there is an enemy there, and if so, then we're going to do damage. So I'm doing instance place here, which is checking if there is an object at a pixel location and returning its ID. So the ID is useful for hold on, I'm just going to need to type this. I'm no good. Okay, so what we're doing is we need to do a with. And the reason is because we need to make sure that this is actually affecting the instance that we're attacking. And so since there are multiple instances of obj enemy 1 at a time, we can't just reference obj enemy 1. We have to reference a unique ID. And to do that, we need to get it from whatever is next to us. So we're getting the ID of the object with instance place, which is right here. The ID of the parent enemy that is directly to the right of us. We're converting from grid to pixel. So we're doing grid inputs, we're converting it to pixel. We're doing the instance place for the enemy to the right of us, because instance place requires pixels. It's not a weird abstract grid system. And then we're doing a with that ID so that we're actually affecting its HP and not ours. And then we have to use other, because if we don't use other, then it'll attack itself basically with its own damage. We need to make it so it's affected by our damage. We haven't set a damage yet, so let's go ahead and do that now before I forget. We'll just set it to 1 for now, and we can test later with other things. That's that. Now we're just going to change it. So this is going to be down. This is left. And up. I think that's good. So last thing we need to do is we need to make it so the player actually is affected by this. So this needs to be treated as a normal action. So we set can move to false, because even though the player never moved to begin with, we need to register a stop, basically. A pause, so that you can't just rapid fire machine gun damage. So now let's go into here. Well, we don't need to do anything actually. That's it. So now what should hopefully be happening is when we move up to an enemy, we don't move into it, but instead we'll attack it. And now is the point where I need to be doing... I didn't think of doing this. Oops. I think it was x plus 5, y plus 7 HP. So now we should be able to see the HP actually being affected, hopefully. Bad job. Well, it works for now. Yes, it does. Let me fix that though. Why is that doing that? I think it's because I need to not do... I need to do pixel to grid. No, grid to pixel. No. Maybe this is just wrong. Oh, maybe, I think I remember. It was like, I had to minus something, I think. I'm just remember, I didn't plan to do the draw thing. I forgot that was necessary. Close. What about just -5, -5? You know what, let's just look at the code. How about? Let's just look at the final thing. Let's not be silly. This one. Oh, right, I forgot about that too. Oh, really? This just works, huh? Did I not No, I centered it. I don't know why it's not... I mean, Oh, I wonder... No, I don't know what I wonder. I mean, that's what I did. I don't know why it's not centering properly. There's something getting wrong. Oh, what? Isn't that what I did? Maybe I did plus. I might have done plus. I don't remember. Well, whatever. It works. So I'm holding right and I'm going in, and you'll see it doesn't go like... It's not a rapid fire thing, and I can hit restart. So yeah, this is good, and I can still move into the walls. So there's resistance. Yeah, good stuff. So that's gonna be it for this one. In the next one, the enemies will start to fight back. Oh, actually, let's do one more thing. We'll test damage. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, he's gone. So anyway, in the next one, I will be doing the pathfinding for the enemies and making it so that they can fight back. That's sort of the bulk of the tutorial, honestly, so that might take a bit longer. We might hit a half hour for that one, I don't know. But that should be good. And then after that, it'll just be an easy little filler final thing. And yeah, that'll be it. So thank you for watching, and I hope you also watch the next one. See ya.